Hey everyone, Cody Bugan here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time today talking about all the different players there are. Well, maybe not all of them, but I'm going to cover the broad strokes of all the different players there are in our space. And that we specifically, I think, as many of you know, we focus on land deals in the residential development space, right? And that's specifically raw land. So, but we'll talk briefly about, real estate agents, land wholesalers, which we call land acquisition specialists. We'll talk about land developers. We'll talk about home builders, and we'll talk about, there's also, and then you hear there's local home builders, right? Or local land developers, and there's national home builders and land developers, and there's public companies as well. So let me start off by saying that the beautiful thing about our industry is that even though we have competition, right? So one home builder competes with another, one land developer competes with another. What I have found in our space is we don't have this wall between us and our competition, meaning that we are all more than willing to collaborate. I'll take it a step further. We're even all more than willing to help the other one. We'll sell deals to each other, right? So one land developer might decide he doesn't want to develop this deal, so he'll call me and see if I want to develop it. Or I might have a deal that I don't want to develop for whatever reason, so I'll call him and see if he wants to develop it, right? It just depends on timing in the year, the situation, what we're trying to, what's going on with our business, what moves we're making. And so, but we're all willing to move and shake and trade deals or sell deals to each other. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's really it's so awesome about our industry. And no two deals are the same. Each project stands alone. Each project has something unique about it. And so let's go to the beginning. So real estate agents. Real estate agents out there, I love you. We appreciate you. We work with you, often in one way or another. But real estate agents, and please don't take this the wrong way, I'm not trying to belittle you at all. Most real estate agents have been limited to, the education that's out there for them, but vast majority of real estate agents don't know how land deals work in the development world, okay? The way that most real estate agents are involved in raw land deals in the development world is because Joe Blow's property owner called them and said, hey, I want to sell my land. And so that real estate agent took that listing. But that real estate agent really, for the most part, doesn't know how to price that land and doesn't know how land deal purchases, how the terms work, okay? So at least in my career, I can count on one hand how many deals I've done that were actually listed on the open market, which leads to really how we broke into the industry in a very, very big way almost 2 decades ago. And that is that we decided that we wanted to be in control of our own destiny as much as possible and also not have to wait for our phone to ring for deal flow. So meaning that someone calls us and says, hey, we want to sell our land, or a real estate agent calls me and says, hey, I have this property they want to sell. So we implemented a whole system on how to go out and find the land that is developable and deal directly with the property owner and build a relationship to a point where they get comfortable to actually sell us the land, okay? And so that's what we are calling the industry would call it a wholesaler. We call it a land acquisition specialist because it is so vastly different than when we hear about wholesaling, we hear about wholesaling houses. And wholesaling raw land deals in the development world is so different than doing this in the raw land space in the development industry. So, because our model is not built at all on beating up property owners and trying to get that that land bought below market value. That's not at all where the value is of being a land acquisition specialist. So this land acquisition specialist is how we broke into the space. And then we eventually got comfortable, learned the hard way through many failures, got comfortable then running projects through the approval process, and then, and we built up the capital through being a land acquisition specialist to be able to run projects through approval and got the necessary knowledge. And then once we got comfortable with running projects through approval and kind of understanding how that worked and building up some capital, then we actually started developing our own projects, because we were at yet another level of capital and of comfortability, right? Experience, education, so on and so forth. But what I want you to, I guess the biggest thing I'm trying to put across today is you can start out small. You can start out you can crawl before you walk. You can walk before you run. And the industry wants you to succeed. With us teaching how to be a land acquisition specialist, the developers and builders out there, they want you to be successful, because you're bringing deals to the marketplace that otherwise wouldn't be available because they're not listed. They're not on the open market for sale. And I'm going to go one step further, if you don't mind, because I think it'll help in your understanding. So you have the developers by themselves, and then you have home builders by themselves. Well, so the developer goes in and develops the project that was approved, meaning the design, the site plan of what's going to be built on that land. They go in and they put in the utilities, the underground trenching, putting in all the utilities. They put in the roads, the street lights. They do all the grading. They get it to a point where the plat can be recorded, right? And so the layout, the lots, and they create what's called finished lots, or individual legal lots of record, or tax lots, that then a home, the vertical construction can be built on that individual legal lot of record. And so that's what a developer does if they just develop alone. And then obviously the home builder is the one that goes and builds the home, right? Well, so you got the developer and the home builder. And more, and I think this trend will continue, is some of the medium to larger home builders, whether they're really local, public, national, it doesn't really matter. They are now starting to become developers too, where they'll develop the land and build the houses. And so us is, or we're a developer, but the land acquisition specialist model, home builders now becoming developers as well, is phenomenal for land acquisition specialists, because there's one less hand in the cookie jar, really, right? Because the home builder is also the developer. And so when you're out there putting deals together, you're dealing directly with the home builder, because they're going to develop it. So I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, except for just to say, I love how our space operates. I love how my competition is willing to sell me deals. I'm willing to sell my competition deals, and we're willing to collaborate with each other. We want each other to be successful, and it's just, I think it's a beautiful industry. So if you'd like to hear more about how to break into the real estate development space, comment below. Tell us that you want to hear more. Tell us what you want to hear about, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. And we love this industry. This is what we do. I've dedicated basically my whole career to it. So, for me, it's motivating and exciting when others want to hear more. They want to know more. They're curious. So, look forward to hearing from you. Take care.